So those addicted to pornography, those who are the part of this great epidemic, so first of all, you need to get an accountability friend. You need to tell somebody, you need to have somebody in your life whom you can tell, a friend, and say, look, I'm struggling. So in those moments of struggling, you can call and say, look, I need prayer right now. And many times, just that act of sharing that the struggle mitigates the struggle. I mean, St. Ignatius Loyola pointed this out, that sometimes just merely exposing the darkness you feel to the light of day just dissipates it. But you have to be praying against it every day, right? Like there has to be a military aspect to you in terms of prayer. So begging the Lord for healing, begging for it. Don't just suffer through the temptation. You have to actually pray. So many times I've had people come to me for confession and they confess the sin, or they come looking for some spiritual counsel. And I ask, when the temptation comes, what do you do? Well, I try to fight it. How do you try to fight it? And they'll say different things, but in very few people do they say, I actually pray. And even prior to the temptation coming, what did you do that morning? Have you cultivated a life of prayer? Because that the presence of God within us helps keep that dysfunction away, and it helps us break those evil habits, precisely because it gives us grace. It gives us the life of God within us, and that's exactly what we need in order to live purely. We need the life of God within us. All right, it is impossible to live a virtuous life. It is impossible to live a virtuous life without a life of prayer, a daily life of prayer, a daily encounter. So everybody should be dedicating at a minimum 15 minutes of prayer a day, at a minimum. And the more time you give the Lord, well, then the more time he has to work on you. But if you want to get rid of a bad habit, gosh, it's impossible to get rid of it permanently without that life of prayer, without cultivating a relationship with God that's lived out daily.